So you were an international baccalaureate? Oh, I saw you. I see that you saw the high school graduation photo that somehow made its way onto Reddit yesterday. Chat told me about it, but I thought it was just like one of the ones I posted a while ago. I don't know who the fuck found this, because I don't even have this photo. My parents don't even have this photo. This is one of those that I thought would absolutely be lost to time. And should be. But yeah, this was me and Matt back in high school. I don't know where you dug this up. Fucking whose grave you exhumed to find this. Must be Nardwar on the case. But yeah, this is this is why there's not a whole lot of photos of me from this time. Look at me. I look so sad. I didn't know how to pose for pictures or anything, so typically what I'd just do is I'd like mean mug it or just look like I got the worst news ever about my dog passing away or something. So any photo that exists of me from that period has pretty much that same 1,000-yard stare type shit. That's peak Hunger Games era picture right there. Yeah, it's important to remember, only a year after this photo was taken, I made my debut in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. What a glow up. Changed cinema forever, I know. It wasn't easy, but someone had to do it. Was this before or after your mysterious anime arc? This was right before my mysterious anime arc. I went from this to the cringe anime character walking around campus that people probably was concerned about. I have no doubt there were people in my freshman orientation class that probably thought I was a school shooter in the making. No doubt in my mind. The anime character arc was a complete failure from top to bottom. But that's college. Sometimes you gotta experiment. Try it again, it probably works now. Yeah, I can try my mysterious anime character phase again and see how that shit goes. What was your yearbook quote? I bet it was a bad joke. Oh, my yearbook quote was just whatever I could find on Google at the time. I think it was, I'm almost positive, my yearbook quote was, "We build too many walls and not enough bridges." Whoever found it probably just looked up your graduating class and found your classmates' photos. I found plenty of photos of you through Ancestry.com. You look really goofy in them. What? Why would Ancestry.com have those photos? We gotta stop worrying about fucking TikTok and start putting our sites on Ancestry.com. How would they have that? Huh? And why are you on Ancestry.com looking at my lineage? Holy shit, Charlie, I went to an IB school too. Yeah, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I've said this from the start. My high school was significantly harder than college. College was so easy compared to high school. Like, academically. The fuck was your major? My major was exercise physiology. Sorry, human science is the degree, but the concentration was exercise physiology. I have Ancestry for personal use and got curious, so looked up and found your photos in public records and yearbooks. What? How would it have that? I've never used Ancestry.com for anything. How would they have any of that? You did use it years ago. No, didn't I do 23andMe? I'm pretty sure I used 23andMe, not Ancestry. Dude found your DNA from the trash. Oh, imagine. He grabs, like, a half-eaten Firehouse sub from me and starts running the data on it. Submits it to Ancestry. Ancestry owns yearbook companies. It wouldn't... I don't know if you're making a joke or not, but it wouldn't work for this because this school was so fucking small that there's no way. Ancestry wouldn't even know that this school existed. Our graduating class was 32 people. The only way they'd find that yearbook is if they pried it from one of our hands. If you have family who have used Ancestry and have uploaded images and listed as a family member, that's enough for you to turn up on the searches. But I don't. Actually, when I did the 23andMe, I had the kit at my house, and my dad came over, and he was like, "Charles, what is this?" And I was like, it's a 23andMe kit. They like run your DNA and shit to see where you come from. And he's like, are you stupid? And he started lecturing me about why it's a dangerous idea to be giving the government that kind of information. And I was like, Dad, it's okay. They've already got it. Check your phone. They've already got all our shit. So no, I know my family has not used Ancestry.com. It is true. No, I know he's right. I know he was absolutely right. So this is... Okay. Well, that's definitely real. I can't pull it up on stream, because Obviously, none of the other classmates are blocked out, but wow. This actually looks like a cult. So I don't know how Ancestry.com has this, but they're on some crazy shit. They got some sources down there. But that's me. It's like a photo of Sasquatch. God, now it's gone 8-bit. But yeah, pretty much the same pose. Terrible posture, frowning, sad, miserable. Looks like a random dude from Google Maps. Yeah, pretty much. I found a photo of you from 2010. Tweeted at me. Where are you guys finding these photos? What are you doing? Are you guys robbing my parents' house right now or something? Ripping photos off the walls? What do you mean you have a photo of me from 2010? You look like you were a preacher's kid that was super repressed. It's so specific. What do you mean? I was just sad. I was just a fucking loser. I was a reclusive loser. What do you want from me? Look how far we've come. Not in terms of height, but I don't look that sad anymore most of the time. They also have your dick pics. Like I said, I've only ever taken one dick pic in my life. It was in would have been 2016. And I sent it to my girlfriend at the time, and I was so ashamed. I took it lying down from my knees, looking up and cock out, and it looked terrible. It was the worst possible angle. It was like the world's worst kaiju. Like a chewed piece of bubblegum. I hated it. Fucking hated it. So I never took another one, and I will never take another one. Were you chubbed? Yeah. But it was even worse, though, because I was looking down at the phone. So I was, like, peeking over my boner, and it was just so creepy. It was so weird. It was like a Max Headroom moment. It was so odd. If that photo ever sees the light of day, I wouldn't even be mad, actually. I don't even think I could be mad if that somehow ever surfaced. It's probably the worst dick pic ever taken. What was her response? Oh, I didn't send it. No, I felt so much shame just taking it, I never sent it. She would have broke up with me if I sent that. It's not like it was the first time she'd seen my cock, but she'd never seen it from that angle. She would have rethought everything. No, I didn't send it. Oh my god. Wait, who are you? Wait, who? How do you guys have these photos? Who are you? Who are these people? What? Where did you find this? I don't even know what this is. Where am I? Jesus, am I at Bohemian Grove? What is this? This isn't even prom or graduation. Who are you? Mom's Facebook page? No, my parents don't have anything like that. It's deep faked. It's definitely not, because I am positive this is me. I still have that tie. I don't understand where this is coming from. But yeah, look, it's striking that same sad-ass pose. Lighting a candle. Maybe I'm at a funeral. It's your dad in the chat. Yeah, hey bud, check this one out. That looks like something church-esque. Yeah, it's like when they sing Silent Night at church and they give you the candles to light. Then you like drink wine and eat a cookie. But I don't... Who would have a picture of me from church? You know what I think it is? I actually think this is homecoming. I don't know what we were lighting candles for. Maybe like a Viking burial? I don't know. But I think it's homecoming. I feel like I would have worn this for homecoming. The CIA took these. Yeah, the NSA. You might be talking to time travelers. Oh yeah, the account, John Teeter. Fucking CERN sent him back in time to take photos of me in high school. Oh, hey, wait. This is one of my high school highlights. I don't know where you are finding these. This is me on the court. I was a menace. Wait, this is so fire. I'm pretty sure this is when I did the up and under layup. So I started up, brought it down, and went right around. I'm almost positive. I think it's that same game. How old are you in this pic? This would have been like sophomore year of high school-ish. But you see, I was balling out. Imagine if you did go to the NBA, you would have had to go up against LeBron and Kobe. And that was the only thing that stopped me. That and that damn collapsed lung. Could have gone pro. Hey, wait! Wait. This finally some vindication. I told you guys I used to be able to jump pretty high. Where are these photos coming from, though? Like, did you talk to my old high school basketball coach? I don't understand where you found these, but yeah, look. I used to be able to grab rim, and that was when I was still like 5'2", 5'3". I used to be able to jump really fucking high. This is me, well, it doesn't have my full extension here, but I used to be able to jump high as fuck. I had a really good vertical. No, they lowered it. Yeah. Yeah, they brought it down for the game. It was the Make-A-Wish. Charlie wants to play on 6 feet hoops for this one. 20 centimeters above ground is not super high. No, this is... What are you talking about? Look where my hand is relative to the net here. I used to be able to grab rim back then. And again, I was 5'2" and 5'3" during this period. They edited the chair out. I'm gonna have to get my vertical back. Fuck you guys. I'm gonna start doing plyos again. Do you have any photos from college? Just my old Tinder photos. And I'm pretty sure I pulled them up on stream before. I took the worst Tinder photos ever. It was diabolical. I should have never been allowed to do that. But those are the only pictures of me from, like, early college. Then all the later pictures from college were just, like, normal ones. But I used to have mutton chops for a little bit. I had a whole mutton chops era, actually. Fun fact, when I lost my virginity, I had mutton chops at the time, which probably worst case scenario because it convinced me to stay with the mutton chops for far longer than any human being ever should. This is pretty cool. This is when I dislocated my pinky after a game of pickup basketball, but you can really see the mutton chops in all their glory. Girl fucked Abe Lincoln. Yeah. My pinky actually never fully recovered from that, by the way. I still can't fully extend it. I didn't get help in time, so it ended up kind of fusing all cattywampus. But the mutton chops, you know, they weren't bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, the mutton chops truly weren't the worst thing in the world. Oh, God. This is... It's important to remember where you came from. This was around the same time. This was my Tinder profile pic for a while. But those mutton chops, baby, they were there to stay. Wolverine. There, here. This was right when I started losing... Well, actually, this is actually kind of deep into my weight loss. I used to be much more meatball-esque. I had the body of a bowling ball. Those eyes pierce my soul. Yeah, it's pretty sad. I'm giving a thumbs up, but my soul on the inside is giving a big thumbs down. I told you, you won't find a picture of me smiling from back then. It was impossible. Is this before time skip? Yeah, this was pre-time skip. How old are you? Here I would be about 15. This would have been around 15 or 16. You always get the most severe injuries when you least expect it. I was playing wiffle ball. I was in a wiffle ball tournament for school when I was a freshman in high school. And I was going to first base, just, you know, I'm a fucking 14-year-old kid just going to first base in a school wiffle ball tournament. And one of the kids' dads fucking squares up on first base, plants on it, and blasts me. Like you would have thought he was in the World Series stopping the last runner from the plate. He just fucking knocks me down as hard as he fucking could. And this is a big guy. This guy was like 260. And I broke my wrist on impact. I was so pissed. Like, Jesus Christ, man, it's wiffle ball. It's like that scene out of It's Always Sunny when they just beat up kids. Except this guy absolutely annihilated me. You must have disrespected his son. I don't know what I did, but man, did he defend first base with his life. No, I had a good stride. I was fast. I was approaching first base and slowing down, and bang! I get hit with a fucking cannon. Did he say sorry? I don't know. That I don't remember. All I remember is trying to pretend it didn't hurt. So I didn't cry or anything. I was like, it's not a big deal. I tried real hard, and I legitimately didn't cry. I held that shit in. I was like, it's definitely broken, and I'd really like to go to the hospital. It wasn't compound fractured, but you could still see one of the bones trying to get through the skin. And I was like, it's not, it really doesn't hurt. I just know this is going to be a problem if I don't get it taken care of. So let's do something about it. I don't remember what his dad said or anything. I like to imagine he apologized, but knowing the way he defended first base, he probably went over and spit on me and said, O'Doyle rules. He teabagged you? Yeah, he walked up and teabagged me, and he said, are you sorry? Do you regret running so ferociously? I don't recall running ferociously. I was just running like normal jogging speed, and then I ran into the brick wall. That man was not to be trifled with on that day. He stood strong. I did not pass. That's probably like the biggest injury I've taken. Like actual injury. You run like an old man? Bro, I didn't used to. I used to be fast. I used to be fast as shit. When I was fat, I was so fast. The second I lost weight, I lost all coordination. I don't know what happened. Show pics. My parents have them. I'll ask for them at some point. I brought one or two up on stream. I know that at some point. Oh, actually, Caleb even... Hold on Caleb's Twitter, I think he posted a yearbook picture from when I was in middle school. Because my parents brought all that to the warehouse. Let me see. I can pull that up. This was 2008. This was not me at my heaviest, but here. Here's 2008. Honestly, this yearbook quote goes so hard too, by the way. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Fucking patriotic. Jesus Christ. And then in 10 years, I was close. Graduating from USF, living in Tampa or LA, 6'1", a musician or sports player. Like, come on. I was a prophet. I was so close to 6'1". I still might get there too. We don't know. I'm still growing. The quote was just, they made you do a quote. I still remember why I chose this. They made you do a quote, so I just typed in famous quotes. That's all. I wasn't actually like a big JFK enthusiast so much so that I wanted to include his quotes in my yearbook or anything, or live my life by his mantra. It was just one of the first quotes that came up. Did you go to USF? No. I didn't go to USF. I do live in Tampa. I didn't get to be 6'1". I do music. So I was right on two of the things I saw myself doing in the future. And my family has always been supportive. Why did you see yourself living in LA? I thought I'd have to move there when I was a professional sports player. Because, I mean, that's where, like, all of, like, celebrities live. So, like, when sports players aren't, like, competing, they're, like, out in LA doing shit. So I was like, damn, I guess I'll have to move out there. I don't know why. What's really sad is I was in high school at this point. I never actually practiced sports outside of just school-sanctioned events. I never even put in the time. And yet I really believed I would still have a chance. Didn't you play basketball? Yeah, not at a high level though, man. I would legitimately only play basketball, and I played a little football as well, but I would only ever play it during, like, school hours. Like, for our actual team practices. I never went home and practiced more. I never got, like, an outside... I mean, I did get an outside coach for, like, a semester when I started realizing I'm not good enough to make it in the NBA. Like, I started making that scramble to try and get, like, a scholarship offer to, like, a D2 or D3 school. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna need like, an extra coach for this. So I did at some point start to scramble for it, but I just never actually even put in the effort. Yet I still believed I'd make it. Yeah, it's that magical time again where Grandpa Charlie comes over, sets you on his lap, asks you what you want for Christmas, ignores it, and tells you old war stories. Today I wanted to take you on a journey, a spiritual quest through the content I posted online when I was 15 years old, when I was just a boy coming into his own, a coming-of-age story of Charles when I was still just coming to terms with the fact that I might not get any taller. And I found some of it today, which put a big smile on my face, and I wanted to share it. Now, as I've said, I've made a couple videos on this, and in those videos I told you all that I made this channel when I was 11. On this channel I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos that I deleted, both out of embarrassment and out of fear, because a lot of the stuff I uploaded was like music from unsigned rappers like Soulja Boy. Before he had a label, I used to post his songs on my channel way back then. and stuff like that, and I made montages using really popular music, and I was worried about getting striked for the DMCA. So I lit the whole library on fire and pissed on the ashes. I removed hundreds of videos, and I still regret it to this day. I'm still shaking my fist, cursing the day that my prepubescent mind decided that this was the proper course when dealing with a potential threat of DMCA. When my video got picked up by Ray William Johnson, the Q-Op video, I panicked. I thought like all of a sudden my channel was going to be on the radar of like music industry hitmen. I thought there was going to be like assassins coming for me because I used a Breaking Benjamin song in one of my Gears of War montages, so I just fucking blasted all of those things out of existence. And to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if there are assassins that the music industry sends against 12 and 11-year-olds for music, but I really do wish I just privated the videos instead of just outright removing them, because I have still not found a way to get those back. Hopefully YouTube still has it somewhere, but I have no idea how to access it. But anyway, what I did find isn't those videos that I removed, but I found some of my old Justin TV live streams. That's how long I've been doing fucking content on the internet. I used to stream on Justin TV pretty often. I'd say like 3-4 times a week, and I was around 14, 15 at that time. And brother, let me tell you what, these are some of the finest live stream clips you'll ever see. As God is my witness, I make the claim that these are potentially the best live streaming clips to ever survive the Justin TV purge.
Shit, I'm the last one. Critical. We can do th- Oh, shit. 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 Oh, shit. Shit. Ah! Damn it, I ran out of ammo. Ah! Split the defense. Split the defense. Hustle play. Go, Critical. Buy something. Shit, I bought the same damn gun. I hate this fucking gun. Shit. I did it! Holy shit! Oh, Jesus. Alright, I'm back. Okay, what's going on here? Alright, who wants to tell me where to go?
Now that second clip, I know you're gonna need to cool down after all that adrenaline coursing through your veins after such a high-octane Paper Mario stream there, asking the chat to just guide me through it. How naive I was to think the chat had any fucking idea how to play the game, or really any game they backseat on. So, this is the only 2 surviving clips I could find of my Justin TV streaming career. I only streamed for like the first half of 2010, and maybe late 2009, I don't quite remember, but I streamed like Luigi's Mansion, a whole bunch of old style, old school games. And I'd really love to see some more of those, but they don't exist anymore unless Justin himself somehow kept the records from my old channel there. But for those that don't know, Justin TV was the predecessor to Twitch. Before Twitch, there was Justin TV. I remember when I was streaming on there, the most popular streams were like 200 viewers for Angry Video Game Nerd 24/7 streams, and also a channel called 4Player Podcast. And other than that, it was mainly just channels like mine, where it was like 10, 15 viewers, just playing a bunch of games in almost unrecognizable quality, so you didn't even know what the fuck you were looking at. It looked like snuff films or footage of Bigfoot, but that was just kind of the fun of it. It was just a crazy, wild time for the entire internet when it came to content creation. Now we're in luck, because I got a fucking double whammy here. I'm coming in with both fists. I also found my old GameFAQs posts. Now, as I've said on the podcast, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about it in videos before, when I was first starting to create content using, like, my voice and narrating stuff, I came up with this series called Fun Tactics, and it was for Battlefield Bad Company 2 as well as other games, but Bad Company 2 is where it really started with making commentary videos. And I used to post every video from the Fun Tactics series on GameFAQs, because at the time, GameFAQs was the most popular forum for gamers. This was like the hub of gaming. Like, if you had gamer gunk in your veins, if you were an ultimate turbo gaming warlord, you were on GameFAQs writing shitty guides and participating in arguments there. It was like Reddit, but without everyone pretending to be super genius, MODOK, masterminds, supreme intelligence overlords. And it was just such a nice trip down memory lane seeing all this, because I thought GameFAQs had wiped all of their old shit from their old unused boards, but I guess for some reason these fossils have survived, which is great to see. Nowadays, GameFAQs isn't as popular as it used to be. I think there's only like 4 or 5 active users anymore. I really don't know. I don't know who's still using GameFAQs or what for, maybe to buy and sell drugs, but I haven't really heard anyone talk about it in a long time. But I gotta tell you, going back and visiting it feels so good. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these bad boys. Here they are in all their glory, all of these incredible fun tactics posts. Oh, goodness gracious, still the best fire to ever drop on the Bad Company 2 GameFAQs board, I would say. Now, I scrolled through a lot of these reading some of the comments because I was looking for one guy in particular, and I talked about it on the podcast. I had like an arch nemesis in here, like the Thanos to my Avengers. His name was Boney Tony. I'll never forget his name. He would insult the fuck out of me every time I posted one of these, but I couldn't find him in any of these threads. I don't know if like he removed his account to remove the post or something, but I couldn't find any of them anymore. So, I don't know what happened there. I guess maybe there was like a truce at some point that I forgot about, but man, I still remember he would insult my voice, which is why in one of the videos I was talking about how it's my real voice, and, I'm not afraid to be confident in the way that I sound. And then there's this post right here, episode 5. This was a very controversial one. So, when I made this advanced spotting technique, people did not like it. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know people were really upset because I wasn't actually helping the team at all. I was just kind of standing still and just making a mockery of it. And I gotta fucking tell you, they held my feet to the fire. I was thrown to the wolves, it felt like. They did not like the video, and I felt terrible. I felt horrible. I removed it and came up with a different fun tactic the next day. It was rough. They were eating my asshole for lunch. I wish I could see the video, because like I said, I don't actually remember what I did in it. If I had to guess, I imagine I was using like a tracker dart and shooting a teammate, maybe? Because at the time, I know I hated recon players that just camped in a bush sniping. So I guess probably what I would have done is just taken the tracker and shot my own teammate with it so the enemy could see them, which would make sense with the title, but I don't know for sure. I'm just spitballing because that sounds like something I would have done in Bad Company 2 back then. That would be my guess. But yeah, anyway, that was definitely the most controversial fun tactic video I ever made, and just seeing these posts again is such a fucking joy. It's just, man, what a crazy time on the internet back then. I think this is every surviving artifact from my early days on the internet that I could find. I really do hope at some point I can get access to the old deleted YouTube videos I had, because fuck, I want to see those so badly. I had AMVs and shit, I had montages, I had 1v1s, it was fuck, I really want to see all that shit again. And there were boner jams galore in those videos. I had boner jam after boner jam in those montages, and I don't remember a lot of those songs. So I'd like to hear those songs again too, like shit. I mean, hopefully those still exist somewhere on like some dusty old crusty ass YouTube server somewhere that I can eventually get access to, but for now, can't find them, and I just wanted to share this shit with all of you because I thought it was a really cool trip down memory lane and just a little journey to the past. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I've got a secret, and I'm not afraid to share it right now. Much like Bruce Wayne keeping his Batman identity a secret, I've got something that I've been keeping from you. And you're not going to believe me when I tell you this, but it is the truth. I used to be a virgin. Not only did I used to be a virgin, I used to be a turbo virgin who was extremely proud of the fact that he was a virgin. In my early college years, I used to brag about being a virgin to anyone that would listen. I was like those dudes that stand on corners with the sign saying the end is near, just talking about doomsday. I was that with virginity. And every day was virginity day for me. I made a video talking about this a little while back, about how I used to brag about being a virgin. I really went hard on that being a core part of my identity in my early college years. When I did talk to girls, I would treat it like I was on Shark Tank and I was pitching my virginity to them like a business that they should invest in. It was very sad and pathetic. But I figured I'd share a few more stories from this era of my life, this arc in the Charlie anime, because there's some real golden nuggets in there that I think maybe a few of you could learn from. Though I don't imagine too many of you watching this right now think virginity is cool or something worth bragging about all the time, unless of course you're trying to be a pastor or teaching abstinence at a high school or some shit as like a sex ed teacher. But anyway, I wanted to share a couple of these stories. So the first tale from the compendium of Charles White's virginity stories is actually one that I shared on a stream recently. It was my sophomore year of college, 2014. Five Nights at Freddy's is the hottest shit, just came out. We've never seen anything like that. Our assholes blown wide open by Five Nights at Freddy's. It was a dark and stormy night, and my roommate had a girl over. It wasn't anyone romantic, they weren't together, they weren't, anything at all. It was a friend of his from high school who came down to party at the university. I did not go to a party that night. I stayed in the dorm room watching cartoons. After the partying had ceased and everyone had their fun, my roommate went to bed, but she didn't. She sat on the couch and watched whatever cartoon I was watching at the time. I think I was watching Justice League or some shit, so you know she was wet. And she just started talking about how much fun she had at the party and eventually asked me why I didn't go with them. And I tried to play it cool. I said, you know, I had better things to do, and if I had a cigar, I would have lit it in that moment right there and just blew a big fucking puff. I was really trying to be suave about it, but the reality is the reason I didn't go was because I wasn't invited. It was a very low-key party, and this was when I still wasn't super familiar with my roommates. They were probably afraid I'd crawl on top of one of the tables and start trying to lead like a virginity chant, like, raise your hands if you're a virgin. Oh, just me? Even better, you know, something weird. So they didn't ask me to go, which is why I wasn't there. But anyway, of course, me being this virginity evangelist that wouldn't shut the fuck up about virginity, we talked more about some shit, I don't remember what, but of course, me being the mysterious anime loser virgin extraordinaire back then, I eventually steered our conversation into a talk of virginity. And I started telling her about, you know, how great it is being a virgin and how, you know, maybe I'll lose it soon if I'm really feeling like it, as if I had, you know, a ton of options, like my fucking cell phone was full of applicants to take my virginity. And she said something that still rings in my ears sometimes when I'm trying to go to bed. After telling her all of this about my virginity and telling it with a, you know, a real smile on my face, really fucking saying it with my chest like I am a virgin, she hit 19-year-old Charles with a giggle and a wow, that's so sad. And she thought I was kidding, so she started making jokes about it, and I insisted that no, I was being serious, and I was like, damn. You know, on the inside I was like, damn, that was brutal, that shit hurt, but she's not wrong. The more I say it out loud, the more I realize how sad it is. And then she goes on to say, I'll suck your dick if you want. And I went into a full fucking meltdown mode. It was like something out of Tom and Jerry when like the stars are going around when they're like knocked out. I was having like a fucking meltdown. And I eventually just went into like full Redditor mode. I was like, oh gee, whoa. No, madame, I could never ask such a thing of you. Absolutely not. I would not have that. I'd like my virginity to stay, thank you very much, you harpy, you succubus. So I stood my ground and declined the blowjob, which was a more than generous offer from her, might I add. She was just gonna take one for the team, a real champion. Like, what a great friend my roommate had. And honestly, I probably saved her life by declining that blowjob because I don't think she quite knew what she was dealing with and getting into. She was about to bite off more than she could chew. She was like Icarus flying way too close to the sun. If she did give me that blowjob, I would have blasted an unholy cum shot at an unreal velocity that probably would have pierced the back of her throat and gone out the other side. It would have looked like she got hit by a fucking sniper. My wiener had never even been accidentally touched by a human female. The closest thing my cock ever got to a girl touching it back during that time was when a girl accidentally hit me in the balls with her criminology book when we were standing up from the table in the classroom. So if she blew me, I would have busted a nut of biblical proportion, a dangerous nut. So really, I made a noble decision and saved her life by declining that. And I think that incident right there where she said it was so sad that she was just going to offer me a blowjob really put it in perspective how sad it really was. Because it was so sad that not only did she tell me to my face how sad it was, but she tried to offer like consolation, as if she was trying to console someone who was grieving. Pretty wild stuff. And I figured I'll share one more story because this one's just as embarrassing. Probably not as embarrassing, though. It's probably worse. Before my sophomore year of college, my high school had a reunion party at one of the girls' houses, and this is when I had just started drinking, and I was getting after it. I was fucking hitting that alcohol real hard. And one thing that I talked about this in the previous bragging about virginity video, but one thing I used to do is I would get drunk and start bragging about my virginity in different accents. Well, I remember at this high school reunion party with all my old high school classmates, I reached that level of drunk where it was time that Irish Charlie come out and start talking about his virginity. So, for the whole night that I can remember before total blackout, I was talking in an Irish accent about how great it is being a virgin and how everyone who had lost their virginity had just failed to reach enlightenment. I was the happiest one being a virgin, all in an Irish accent, of course. And then I do remember one of the girls kissed me and I pre-came down my leg. I don't know if it was like a pity kiss or something, or like pent up feelings from high school, though I doubt it because I was a real fucking weirdo in high school. But I remember one of the girls kissing me, and I pre-came down my leg. At least that's what I tell myself, that it was pre-cum. Honestly, it could have just been a full load that I blew down my leg. I really don't know. But I do know I wasn't invited to the follow-up high school reunion party the next year. So there's a very good chance that I might have just shit myself, honestly, down my leg. It could have been anything. It could have been any mystery fluid coming out of there. And couldn't tell you. But yeah, just a couple more tales from this time where I thought bragging about being a virgin was cool. Again, the lesson to take away. Bragging about virginity is a weird thing to do. So yeah, probably just avoid that. Don't do that. That's it. See ya. The title isn't clickbait. I actually left my house today. I left my sacred dojo of Greece today for the first time in a few months, and I hated it. It was an absolute fucking disaster. It's like when the groundhog pops out of his hole and sees his shadow signaling a couple more weeks of winter. That's what it was like for me. I came out of my little hole here and I saw something far more terrifying than a shadow, which means a couple more months of me staying inside. Now let me clarify, when I say first time leaving my house, I mean first time going somewhere. Like, I've stepped outside into my backyard with the dogs to take them out and shit, so I've been readjusted to the sun, kind of, so the sun and I are no longer enemies. It took like a month of work just to get to that point though. Like, I didn't go outside at all, even the backyard, for a full month just because I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, and I wasn't entirely convinced I could trust the air outside. Could have virus particles in it, and I just wasn't taking the chance. But after a month, I did wander outside, and I swear to God, I thought I was going to die of vitamin D overdose. I felt like it was about to be that scene from Indiana Jones when they open the Ark of the Covenant and everyone's skin is melting off of their fucking bones. That's what it felt like first time seeing the sun. But since then, I've become reacclimated to it, so the sun and I are no longer enemies. So going somewhere today, the sun wasn't the problem. It was just everything else about the adventure here. So my journey wasn't like a noble expedition or anything. I didn't leave my house to go put out a fire nearby or save a kitten from a tree. The reason I left my house was to go to a Walmart. And the reason I was going to a Walmart is because I wanted to look at their as seen on TV products, because I was hoping I could find some Nick Bolton originals like the tack shaver, the tack lantern, and the tack glasses, and really put them to the test. I just kind of had that itch to try out more as seen on TV products because it's been a while since I've done that, and I knew Walmart carried them. And you know, for as seen on TV products, I decided, you know what? It's worth the risk. I'll make this journey for this. Just like Moses, I decided I was going to climb this mountain and get the 10 Commandments and bring them back down for the people to enjoy. But instead of 10 Commandments, what I was getting from the top of the mountain was tactical shaving devices and tactical glasses and shit. So not quite as cool as 10 Commandments, but still something that I felt was very important. And now, I decided to look it up. The last time I even started my car was March 15th, and I know that because the last time I left my house to go somewhere was March 15th to go see the movie The Hunt. And from then until today, my car hadn't been started a single time. It's gotten no exercise, shit's getting out of shape, and it just overall not feeling very well. I'm actually surprised it even started today at all. It's just been waiting for over 2 months now just for any amount of action that wasn't coming. And then today I said, you know what, you're off the bench, let's get you in the starting lineup, and they answered the call. My car started up with no problems, I threw on my mask, and I was ready to rumble. The trip to Walmart was pretty odd because there were so many cars on the road. I was led to believe that it was going to be like a ghost town if I went outside, like fucking going through Chernobyl, but that wasn't the case. The traffic was the same as I remembered it so long ago the last time I ventured outside. So I feel like nothing has really changed outside in society except for me not being a part of it anymore, which made me feel kind of like an outcast, like that kid that sits alone at the middle school lunch table. But that was the first thing I noticed. When I actually got to Walmart, things were very different there. They had it like caution taped off as if it was a crime scene with a chalk outline on the ground from a murder that happened over Yu-Gi-Oh cards or something. It looked really intense and intimidating. They had like 5 kiosks outside. I don't know what the little stands were for. I didn't want to have any like actual close contact with a human being. I wanted to avoid my own species as much as possible, so I didn't investigate. I really can't imagine. Maybe they were selling like fucking lollipops or something, or maybe it was the Girl Scouts parents or some shit selling, I don't know. But there was a bunch of little kiosks outside that I have no idea what purpose they served. Almost everyone was wearing a mask, which made me feel like I was back in my college freshman year going to a rave where everyone used to wear these masks with little skulls on them. And there's also just a really good handful of people that weren't wearing a mask, which I found odd because the people that weren't wearing a mask were the people that I felt really should, or most likely at least would consider, because they were all predominantly older people, and then a couple people that looked like they were on some kind of alcoholic binge and like stumbling over themselves. So I felt like the people that weren't wearing a mask were the people that really should have at least thought about it, but I mean, I'm not their parents. They can make their own decisions. I just thought that was something interesting. It was when I finally got into the Walmart where things really started to go south for this whole adventure here that I'd chosen to go on. So going inside is when things really opened up. I immediately made my way to the As Seen on TV products stand, I suppose, and I didn't find any tack devices. Not a single Nick Bolton certified tactical tool, and I searched multiple times. I even went to the kids department. Not that I think Nick Bolton's tactical devices should be in the kids department, because these are tactical tools for tactical guys. They aren't children's toys. They're extremely dangerous for tactical situations. I mean, I swear to God, Nick Bolton's probably going to be selling tactical C4 just in case. So they shouldn't be in the kids department, but I wanted to make sure no stone was left unturned. I wanted to make sure that I checked everywhere thoroughly to find Nick Bolton's tactical devices. And it was when I went to the kids department that I saw my first little skirmish. There was two mothers, neither of which were wearing a mask, and they were getting into it a little bit. There was a verbal argument, which I love to hear. I do love public freakouts, and I kind of had an expectation going out today that there was going to be something like that, just because everything I've seen online from it. And I was lucky enough to at least kind of encounter one. But in my head, it was a much bigger deal than it was. In reality, they were just kind of arguing about something. I don't know what. I don't know if they knew each other, but they were arguing. Maybe they were arguing about not being able to find Nick Bolton's devices. I have no idea. But since we were in the same aisle, I was right next to it. And to me, I was starting to panic. Like, my blood pressure was starting to skyrocket because I was like, fuck. They're arguing, there's going to be saliva flying all over the place. What if one of them's sick? Now I've put myself in between a bullet and a target because we're sharing the same row. So in my head, I'm hearing this argument and I'm just picturing like fight night, like in a boxing match, you know, in the movies where it's like a slow motion punch and their head turns and the sweat's flying all over the audience like it's SeaWorld in the Splash Zone. That's what I was picturing. So I was hurrying up my investigation because I started panicking, worried about this invisible enemy that could be coming my way down the aisle. So I got the fuck out of there. I went back to the As Seen on TV stand. I didn't see anything, so eventually I just said, it's not here, and I got out. So as I left the glorious Walmart limp-dicked and sad, I walked back to my car, and that's when the actual fucking disaster of the day happened. I got fucking swarmed. Well, swarmed is an exaggeration. There was a single wasp that tracked me from the Walmart to my car. It was like fucking stalking me, waiting to make a move on my wallet. So this wasp fucking attacked me when I was about to get in the car, and when I say attacked, it landed on my head and freaked the shit out of me. So I was freaking out, like slapping at my head, and then I accidentally slapped my own fucking mask off onto the goddamn ground, which now that's ruined. I can't ever touch that again, so I left that there. And I'm fucking battling this fucking wasp, getting into my car, and now I'm exposed to the outside elements. I've lost my radiation suit because my mask is on the ground. This wasp will not leave me the fuck alone. I can't get my car open because I keep fucking fumbling the unlock on my keys. So it was just a true upsetting time that made me feel like I had just been brutalized. The wasp must have sensed my weakness and it was shaking me down for my lunch money at the car. It was fucking mugging me right there in the Walmart parking lot. And that's when it really set in on me, like, this must have been a sign. Like, Charlie, you shouldn't be outside yet. Give it a little more time to marinate and then you can go outside later. This is me telling you, stay inside for now. And I took that at face value, so I will be staying inside again at least for a couple more weeks or something, because that wasp attack that fucking compromised my safety, that was enough for me to say, all right, that's probably enough. That's probably my one journey for the next month or so. So I'm back inside, and I just wanted to share with you my experience of my first time going back outside into society. And yeah, what a remarkable experience it was. I got nothing in return for it other than traumatized by a wasp. I really fucking hate wasps. Always have. Wasps really suck ass, so fuck wasps. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. Today, I was hit with a flood of nostalgia. During the official podcast episode we recorded today, Jackson brought up old stories he used to write with his friend about naked bananas that he'd draw cock and balls on. He called it Banana Family or some shit like that, but it was basically just bananas with their dicks out. And it reminded me that when I was younger, I used to write stories and shit like that too. So I asked my mom if she kept any of them, because I remembered a few, and she found every single fucking story I wrote, and I'd like to come in here and share them with you, because I could have very well have been the next Stephen King. Like, I got some real Alan Wake shit here. We'll start with the Unreal Events here. So, as you can see, Unreal Events, Chapter 1 is a question mark in and of itself. Like, even you can't even trust the author. I don't even know if it's Chapter 1, so what hope do you have? So, let's begin. Now, if you're interested in mystery books and scary situations in a book, then you are reading the right book. If you do not like books like that, then you might not like this book. Now I must tell you the dreadful story about the orphans' mysteries and terrible situations. I can immediately smell a hint of a series of unfortunate events kind of emanating from the pages here. I was really channeling that energy. So the children were from the second richest family in the world. Their last names were Vondelay. They had 3 kids. Their first was Sydney. She was 15 and she loved to invent things. The next was Jack. He was 13 and had already read more books than a human might have read their entire life. Their youngest child was Marie. She was 1 year old and loved to eat a lot. You'll notice immediately some grammar mistakes. I'm using the wrong there almost every single time, so it's basically like reading a fucking Twitch chat. But I think I was like 6 or 7, 8 maybe, probably like 19 when I wrote this. So I mean, it was an excusable mistake. One day they were at a beach, Sydney, just looking at the water, Jack reading a book and Marie eating some carrots, when an investigator came and said, "I'm very sorry to report this, but it seems that your home was burned down and your..." Never finished it. I know, that's a fucking shame. I really hooked you in there with that teaser for it, but I never got to finishing that one, unfortunately. Probably a cease and desist from the series of unfortunate events, guys. But I tell you, if I had finished that, that could have been a banger. Now this one, there's no title. I don't know what the fuck this is for, but I'll read it anyway. Every night in China, 8 ninjas rob a bank. The 8 ninjas knock the guard out, but one night 7 guards caught the ninjas, but the ninjas still won. I don't know how that happened. If the guards caught the ninjas, they lost, right? But somehow they must have snuck out using some ninjutsu stuff. Escapides, 1 more guard, saw the ninjas stealing, and he targeted to fight, but he lost, and the ninjas escaped. The next night, the 8 ninjas robbed the same bank, and this time they were ready. The fight went. I had this bad habit of coming up with a great gripping introduction, but never following through on the actual meat, which is a goddamn shame. We're gonna get into some horror here. Here's my ghost book. As you can see, some pretty solid ghosts, little clip art here. It looks better than half the shit on Tumblr, if I do say so myself. So let's dive in. Ghosts. A big ghost. A little ghost. Naturally, yes. A happy ghost. That is one ghost feeling some intense jubilation. That is a very happy ghost. I haven't read this yet. I wrote it, but I don't remember it from fucking 20 years ago. I'm gonna guess the next ghost is sad. We'll see. It's stuck together. Just accidentally like came on this or something. A sad ghost. What do you know? A scary ghost. I'm not trying to put the fear of God in you or anything. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but just be warned, it is a bit frightening. Boo. That's all she wrote. That's the end of the book by Charlie. So those are like 3 unstructured ones, but then we get to some actual fully fledged stories, finished top to bottom, inspected by some of the finest literary masterminds the world has ever seen. This one could have been the next Magic Treehouse series. This is Ducks Military Operation Takedown. The operation was so covert, I couldn't even write anything about it without going to jail. It's a blank introduction, because it is that fucking secretive. I'm half expecting to turn this page and have it all be like blacked out, like CIA's redacted, everything's just censored. But let's dive in here and see what kind of war crimes were committed by the Ducks Military. Chapter 1. A long time ago, a scientist named Earl took 2,000 ducks and experimented on the ducks. At first it was a failed experiment, but now the experiment is a success. Why? Because I fucking say so, I guess. I don't know how it failed but then succeeded. I don't know what Earl did. Maybe CRISPR or something. Now they have their own military with a pig and some dogs. Now to our story. Honestly, this is better than Angry Birds movies. Like, this story makes more sense so far. It's like right in line with them, and it's got some good narrative plot lines I'm developing here. "Hey," said Earl, the pig, to Bob. Earl is the duck's special weapon, and Bob is the leader. "Yes, what do you want?" said Bob. "Man, do you like toast?" "Shut up. Now, ducks, we must win this war," Bob said. They all looked at him weirdly. "What war?" they asked. "Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, the war against the Penguinz." Jesus, where did that come from? Little Deus Ex Machina coming in here. Bob said, "What do we need to go to war with the Penguinz?" they asked. "Because they kidnapped one of the members from the DOTS team. That is their SWAT team," said Bob. I wonder what DOTS stood for in my head. DOTS team. Dicks out, touchdown summer, maybe. I don't really know. "Now these Penguins have well-trained soldiers. Their leader's name is Dunkin' Donut." I wasn't even sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts, I don't believe. Yeah, there's the chapter 1. It's like the beginning to a Harry Potter book, I know. God, imagine what I could have been today if I had only kept writing. I have so many of these fucking things. We have Cool Cow Adventures, chapter 1. We have so much shit here. Like, I have Moon Ninja. I have Moon Ninja 1 and 2. I have Moon Ninja and Moon Ninja Returns, naturally, because you can't beat Moon Ninja that easily in one book. I have an entire series of Nutty Noodle Man. Where's some Nutty Noodle Man? Yeah. We got Nutty Noodle Man versus Dr. Dummy. And we have Nutty Noodle Man versus a lot of other people as well. He fought a lot of enemies, but... See, there's Moon Ninja. I actually turned that in for a grade. The teacher said, "Wow, this is a great report. I see that you like action stories." Guarantee she didn't even read it. It's not all about action in Moon Ninja. It was about weaving some subtle narrative plot points in a relatable villain, like Thanos or some shit. And she said, "I just like action books." That's fucked up. But anyway, yeah, there's a ton of fucking stories here. I'll probably read most of them on the podcast because that was kind of a topic, and now I have a lot to bring to show and tell for the next time that comes up. So I just wanted to share with you a few things and let you all know I could have been a fucking prolific writer, but now we're here instead, which I'm fine with because you know, maybe the world wasn't ready for Duck's military operation takedown. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah. I don't think I've ever shared a story about myself so embarrassing that it changes the way you look at me. I've shared a lot of embarrassing stories with girls and shit that I've had in the past, but nothing that's so goddamn game-changingly cringe-inducing that you vomit and think less of me until today. I was trying to think of a story that I wanted to talk about because I wanted to tell a really embarrassing one today, but I wanted to like amp this shit up to like the highest fucking level I could. So I was going to my past, of which there's a myriad of embarrassing stories to choose, but I wanted to find the perfect one. And then I remembered something that made me sick to my goddamn stomach, so I can't wait to share it with all of you. So to preface this happened in high school. The year is 2011. This was right after my third lung collapse. If you've been following me for a while, you know my lung collapsed 3 times. And the last time it happened was 2011. Well, in 2011, I got surgery to have it fixed. And before I went into surgery, there was a girl I had a crush on that had just added me back on Facebook. And I decided I'd send her like this goddamn scholarly "oorah, I love you" message to her. And we had never spoken. So this girl and I never spoke once in our lives, not even by accident. If I farted somewhere in school, there's no way she would ever fucking smell it because we were never even close to each other in any sense of the word. The only reason we even knew about each other, or rather the only reason I knew about her, was because she was a cheerleader and I played basketball. Other than that, no communication, literally not even eye contact. And yet for some reason, in 2011, I sent this girl the most disgustingly embarrassing messages when I was in the hospital. I haven't read them. I screenshotted them today, and I sent them to myself so I could read them to you today, and we can experience this together as a lesson in how not to ever approach a woman in any way. So allow me, please. Pickup artist legend Charlie is going to guide you through the how-don'ts, the do-nots of women. So let's go ahead and get into these messages here. So ace pussy slaying god Charles in 2011 leads with, I know you and I have never talked, but I just wanted to tell you that you are one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen. Now, some of you might hear that and think I came on a little too strong. Looking back on it now, hindsight's 2020, I don't think I came on strong enough. I should have led with I love you. Signed, Charles. And then like a little kiss. And then, you know, maybe go from there. So after I said this, she responds with a simple question mark. Nothing else, just one character, a question mark. I was already in the hospital, but if I wasn't, that right there would have sent me into the hospital with fucking cardiac arrest. That shit hurt so goddamn bad at the time. But I mean, what can you expect when someone leads with some shit like this? This is the kind of shit you see on Twitter with like a bad English associated with it, with a send bobs and bitch lasagna, please, vagina look good with penis and stuff like that. It's a creepy message. Any girl should respond with a question mark or nothing at all. But anyway, my spirits weren't deterred. I continued. Yeah, I'm in the hospital and just said, fuck it. It's worth a try. You probably don't think the same. You probably don't think the same about me, but I just wanted to say that. That's some nice guy shit right there. Jesus Christ. Well, this is pretty fucking bad. Let's keep going. To that she says, oh, I'm sorry, frowny face, but thanks, I guess. Why are you in the hospital? I'm surprised she even believed I was in the hospital, to be honest. You got a fucking stranger coming at you, pretending like he's going off to war and sending a love letter out there like it's some goddamn type of anime. If someone sent me shit like this, I'd be like, yeah, sure, buddy. I'm sure you're in the hospital. What do you have? Small dick syndrome going on? There's no cure. Get out of my DMs. I have recurrent pneumothorax in my left lung. It has collapsed 3 times, and tomorrow I have surgery to repair it. Sad violins playing, I'm sure, when I was typing this. I just wanted to tell you that before I had the surgery. I know that it is... Excuse me, I've got to scroll to the next one. Oh, it's a little out of order. 2019 Charlie clearly doesn't know how to fucking screenshot things in order. Here we go. I know that it is a weird way to start a conversation. I also know that I came on way too strong telling you that. Self-awareness, key. Key! Even back then I had it. Even back then I'm like, Jesus, I'm sounding really fucking weird, but I'm still going for it. Didn't stop me. Should have stopped me, to be honest. Yeah, that's the lesson to take away here. Don't do this. You know, at this, when you're starting to recognize like, holy shit, this is too strong and I'm being very weird, just stop. Then she says something very odd. On behalf of all the YouTube comments, Charles, I hope you cut your hair. I'm not cutting my hair. She didn't say that. I'm just telling you, stop telling me to fucking cut my hair. I want to see what it looks like real long. I want to look like a goddamn lead singer in a mid-2000s emo band. Just let me fucking have this, alright? So anyway, she asks about the surgery and shit. Nothing to talk about there. But then, as we're starting to wrap up, I say, just wondering, do you know who I am? If you don't, I bet this is the most fucked up conversation you've ever been a part of. I mean, yeah, that's definitely a fucked up way of going about things, past Charles. Jesus Christ. I sound like some type of spoiled rich kid. Do you know who my father is? He invented Bing. I'm a big deal. Please, please love me, please. God damn it. I'm in the hospital. For God's sakes, do you know who I am? God, these are such embarrassing messages. She says, haha, no, I do know who you are. Like, I've seen you, but that's it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that sounds about right. I was a very odd guy, odd looking too. I had this really weird my hair looks like shit now, but back then I had an even weirder hairstyle where I shaved all, like the side, the back, and the top of my head, like it was a one with the clippers, but the front was about as long as it is now. So everything was pretty shaven except the bangs. So yeah, I was a fucking lunatic. It'd be hard to forget it'd be hard not to see me and make fun of me. I was one step shy of like a trench coat fedora wearing fucking loser in high school. I really was. So yeah, it makes sense that she at least remembered what I looked like, because I looked like a goddamn fucking psychopath. So to that I said, oh, sorry, I bet this is weird for you, huh? The only way to make things like this not weird is to keep saying, yeah, this is probably weird, right? That way it's, it takes the tension off. It's like, oh, he's saying it's weird, it can't be weird if he keeps talking about how weird it is. All right, it makes sense. Like, pretty much every fucking line I say in here is about how weird it is, and yet I keep going. To that she says, I don't mind at all. So then in closing, this is my finisher. This is my Mortal Kombat fatality, my big grand finale here. All right, cool. Maybe when I get out of here, we can talk more so I can get to know you a little better. I'm not as weird as this conversation makes me seem. You know. Little pro tip to the ladies, don't take someone up on that offer. They most likely are pretty fucking socially inept. I certainly was. 100%. We never talked after this. I can't imagine why.
But we never spoke or anything. Nothing ever came of this, unsurprisingly. However, I'm sure if we did, I would have been still just as socially inept talking in person as I was on the Facebook Messenger. So the lesson, ladies and gentlemen, don't be weird. That's always the advice I give to someone going into college and shit. Just don't be weird. Don't be super forward. Don't be super out there. Just be normal conversations. Let things, simmer, develop, sniff things out. Don't just come in there guns blazing, fucking jerking off. I love you. Do you love me? Like, come on. Come on, 2011 Charlie. I look back on shit like this and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I never recognized how bad I was until, like, you get older. So, it's a pretty embarrassing story. Maybe it's not as embarrassing for listening to it, but for me, recollecting on this, it's fucking bad, man. Like, Jesus Christ. That girl was probably scared for her fucking life, thinking I'd be tossing pebbles at her window late at night at like 2 a.m. Hey, did you think about me in the hospital? I'm alright now. You want to talk? Shit, man. Well, that's the end of the story. Another nice tale for the compendium of awful interactions I've had with women, all of which being my fault from my past. So, yeah, fuck yeah. That's it. See ya.
So tell me again about how you almost ruined Christmas with that fat shit.
A classic Christmas tale as old as time itself. Well, this one goes out to all you Christmas enthusiasts out there. Gather around your fireplace, put on your best bathrobe, and just cuddle on up as I tell you this timeless tale. A tale Dr. Seuss would be afraid to tell you, but I'm not. I go where Dr. Seuss never would. So, I'm not a religious man by any means. I've seen Rick and Morty. I've been wubba-lubba-dub-dub to enlightenment. Rick Sanchez has opened my third fucking eye, But Tiana's family is moderately religious, so they go to church every Christmas Eve. And I was very hungry, so before then, Tiana had brought me I guess whatever the fuck she found in the dumpster on her way home. It was just like 2 pieces of burnt charcoal and mulch that was slapped between stale bread and covered in motor oil. But I ate it. I was so hungry I'd eat the asshole off of a farmer. Not that farmers have notoriously filthy buttholes or anything, but it just serves to illustrate that I was extremely hungry at that given time period. So I ate the sandwich. Upon finishing that unholy abomination of what some people would call food, I suppose, I could immediately feel a fat shit cooking deep within my rectum that was going to send 2018 out with a bang. I only wish I had more time to evacuate my ass before going to church, but we were cutting it close. We were down to the wire in the 4th quarter and I didn't have time. We needed to get to church because the service was at 4. And it was like 3:35 when I finished eating whatever she pulled up from the soil on her way home. And I knew that this was probably going to be how I died. I thought it was going to be an absolute disaster. It felt as though God himself was exorcising my asshole. I was going to shit out all of my Christmas spirit. God himself would smell it, and he would frown upon what he had put on this earth. His creation disappointed him. My shit was going to be outrageous, biblical, and it was going to be in the house of the Lord, a holy place. But for just a moment, I let the devil into my colon, and it was rearing its ugly head. Lucifer was going to infiltrate that church, and his portal was my butthole. And so I was cooking up this hard stomach aching, big shit ready to rock and roll, and we got in the car. I was being a trooper like a champion. I hopped in the car, and Tiana's dad was fucking drifting around corners, which didn't help. I was just getting the juices flowing, fucking scooting in sideways to church right in the nick of time to make it to the service. And at that moment, that church wasn't a church. That was a fucking battlefield. That was a war zone right there, an active war zone. And I knew I was about to drop something the toilet would never forget. The church bathroom was the shores of Normandy, and my asshole was the ships carrying the soldiers, and it was about to be an all-out charge. And I knew I was probably going to ruin Christmas. I knew this wasn't going to be like a short shit. This was going to be like a overnight camping trip of shitting. I could feel it the whole way. I knew what I was dealing with. I'm a shit connoisseur. I've shit a lot in my life. And I knew what I had ready to rock and roll. And I didn't want to just disappear for the whole church service because it means a lot to Mr. and Mrs. Tiana parents. So I felt really bad, but there's nothing I could do about it. Anyway, I go in, and it's like a Christmas miracle out of a fairy tale. the second I sat down in the pews with the church manuscript or the schedule, whatever the fuck is going on, the basketball roster, whatever the fuck they talk about Christmas Eve for church, as soon as I started reading that, I didn't have to shit at all. The Lord pulled the shit from my colon for just that moment, and I made it through the entire service without taking a fat shit. And that's how Christmas of 2018 was spared in the Pennsylvania area.
And how many songs did you sing at church, Charlie?
0 songs. I'm surprised the church wasn't singing to me. Hey, he did it. He didn't fucking poop himself over there. Yeehaw! Holy night. Silent charting over there.
Welcome to another riveting story time from my compendium of social ineptitude. Today's story takes place during high school when I thought breakdancing was the dopest shit. I used to think breakdancers were society's alpha males that couldn't walk 5 steps in public without falling penis first into a consenting vagina. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to learn to be a b-boy, an ultimate breakdancing Chad to impress girls. Keep in mind, this was about a decade ago, so there was movies coming out that focused on breakdancing and how cool it was. The one that had the biggest impact on me was called You Got Served. That movie was like my Eye of the Tiger. I would throw that shit on religiously to get myself pumped up and motivated, start pumping testosterone into my dick like, yeah, alright, I'll start serving people soon, I can do this. So I'd watch a shitload of shitty Expert Village tutorials on breakdancing till I got to a point where I was like, I'm confident, I can do this in front of people now and it'll be really cool. Spoiler alert, I was never actually good at it and it was never cool, but that didn't stop me. Every single school dance function from probably freshman year of high school to senior year of high school, I would be that fucking sociopath on the dance floor during the first song, busting it wide open. You know, like at all the dances like homecoming and shit, the first song nobody's on the dance floor because it's not cool? Well, I'd fucking cherish that moment. I would charge that dance floor like a football team storming the stadium field. I was all about that first song life. And this was during the time where The Jerk was popular. Well, not really, it was kind of on its way out anyway, but I was still trying to hold on to that glory of The Jerk. So I had this little routine that I would do at every dance function, every single fucking one of them. And unfortunately, I still remember kind of the beginning of it, so I'm going to give you a little sneak preview of what it looked like. Breakdancing. I know, ladies, just leave your sodden panties in the dirty clothes and wash them later. What you just saw right there, what you just bore witness to, was a body wave into a 6-step combination, a little groundwork that I tossed in there for flair, then the jerk tacked on at the end. A combination move only fit for the most elite b-boy gods out there. Now, at the time, this was 10 years ago, I was far more limber, so I could go from the kneeling position to the standing position without fucking blowing up my meniscus. Now is a different story. I can't exactly do it as well as I did back then, but in a nutshell, that's kind of what it looked like back then too, honestly. And let me tell you, it wasn't cool. I don't think that routine I came up with will ever be cool. If I'm wrong, please, some b-boys out there, make it better and send it to me. I'd love to see how that could possibly be improved, because in my eyes, that's as good as breakdancing gets. And they didn't appreciate it. So my high school just didn't really have a taste for the finer breakdancing things because no girls ever thought that was cool, surprisingly. And let's fast forward. So I do that at all the dances. It never really got me anywhere or anything, and I never changed the routine. That was about the extent of it. That was my breakdancing prowess on full display. That was me sailing at full mast, full erection, red alert, and nobody gave a shit. It wasn't cool to them, and it clearly just objectively is not a very good routine. But let's fast forward to senior year. I'm still doing that routine, and I finally worked up the courage to ask a girl for her number, and she humored me by actually giving it to me. She was clearly not interested, but that didn't stop good old b-boy Charlie from trying. So in order to try and get her genuinely interested in at least like kissing me on the cheek or asking me to tie her shoes or something romantic like that, I would send her videos of me doing routines like that. But I didn't have any friends to videotape that because no one was that close to me. In fact, I don't think any of my friends would do that now because it's just embarrassing. So what I would do is I would have my dad take videos of me doing breakdancing like you just saw. Except by senior year I was a little bit better. So I was able to do like kind of head spins. I couldn't do like a head spin without supporting myself with my hands. So I could kind of just like walk my head around very slowly. And I would have my dad videotape that. It'd be like a 2-minute video of me just walking my head around slowly like that on the floor. And I would send her that. And she was such a fucking sweetheart. She would send me things like, "That's so cool," or "Rad." Just, man, it was pathetic. Genuinely pathetic. So I'd continue to do this. And then she stopped replying. That's how that story ends. So, in a nutshell, I still think, power moves and breakdancing are cool as shit. I can't do them. My body just wasn't made for that type of activity. But I respect the men who can, and I still think that's cool. But the lesson here is, if you're not good at breakdancing, don't try. Don't use it to impress people. Definitely don't do it at parties or at bars or at school dance functions or anything. Just keep it to yourself. And definitely don't have your father videotape them, because that's equally as embarrassing. And trust me, I wasn't shy about telling her who videotaped that. I said, "Look at what my dad just filmed me doing," like it was some type of candid photo shoot or shot. So, the lesson here, just, don't be a fucking idiot, I guess. There's really no lesson here. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that are trying to breakdance to impress girls in 2018. Now it's all about your Fortnite wins. But even if there is still that splinter cell of dudes out there that are blood, sweat, and tears pouring cum into the breakdance art, make sure you're really good at it before you show anyone that shit. Trust me. It'll save you a lot of embarrassment. See ya. Anime is a word that inspires confusion, fear, and boners. On the surface, it's just another form of entertainment, but what it actually is a weapon. And like all weapons, there's the potential for misuse. This is the story of how I misused anime in my first year of college, and potentially led the entire student body to believe that I was some type of fucking lunatic who was one bad Naruto episode away from crashing his car into the side of the on-campus gym. It all started in high school. I was pretty reclusive, I didn't go out much, but I did watch a lot of anime, and it taught me two very important lessons. The first being, the power of friendship is the strongest force in the universe that not even God himself can compete with. Friendship probably led to the Big Bang creating our fucking universe. The second lesson being, the mysterious guy is always the coolest guy that big-titted girls want to fuck, and smaller-titted girls want to fuck. And I really took that lesson to heart, and I super shouldn't have. Absolutely not. But I did. And what happened is, as I graduated high school, I realized that college was my chance to really reinvent myself and change what people think about me, my perception, because no one knows about me. In high school, everyone knew me because I went to a small school, so I couldn't exactly just kick down the door one day sporting a leather jacket and riding a Harley Davidson and have everyone think I was super cool all of a sudden. They'd probably just think I was possessed by the spirit of a 40-year-old father going through his midlife crisis. But in college, nobody knew me, so I could be anything I wanted to be. And man, I wanted to be the anime mysterious guy. And holy shit did it lead to a very embarrassing and lonely first year of my college. So my college anime opened up with an incredible season opener, just a beautiful introduction. On move-in day, the literal first time setting foot in college soil, being an adult, a full-grown, full-hairy, penised adult on a college campus. On move-in day, I had my dad helping me. And going to my dorm, moving in the elevator, there was a girl and her father who were moving in there on the same floor. And my dad was talking to her dad and her a little bit. I didn't say a word. I was too cool to say a word. My dad tried to throw me into the conversation. So he asked me a real softball question that even a toddler could fumble his way through. I don't remember exactly what he asked me, but it was something like, "Oh, are you excited to move into this dorm, Charlie?" And I'll never forget my response because I remember this verbatim. I said, "You know I can't talk about that, Dad." I don't know why I said that. I guess in my head I thought that she would think that was super fucking dope, like I was some type of super secret agent that can't talk about his opinions. But really it just came across like, wow, this is a guy that I should be afraid of. But at the time, it didn't register with me like that was a weird thing to say. I went through the rest of that day being really proud of that, like, damn, fucking nailed it in the elevator. College is gonna be great. I just expected, like, if we saw each other in the hallway, she'd just be overcome with ecstasy and just charge me like, "Charlie, son," and then give me a smooch on my smoochers. But in reality, as you can imagine, that never happened. And that was really just setting the tone for the rest of that entire year for me. I wanted to, and luckily Kaya talked me out of it, I wanted to put an Xbox disc of Psychonauts around a chain on my neck, so that way people would know that I like Psychonauts. It's not exactly mysterious because I'm kind of beating you on the urethra with, I like this, I'm clearly wearing it. But I was like, this is so different. This is totally what an anime guy would do, like the mysterious guy. Another thing that I wanted to do, and Kaya again talked me out of it, he really saved me from having an even more catastrophic freshman year of college, is I wanted to carry around a deck of cards and do magic tricks at house parties or just around campus to really make people be like, damn, that was cool. I need that guy's number. Who was that guy? That guy's super cool. Let's invite the magic deck guy back, the magic card trick guy. That's super awesome and fun guy. I didn't end up doing that, but I did used to do some magic tricks at house parties, which is still embarrassing, but the cards were already there. I didn't bring them or like come up to people, hey, you want to see a fucking magic trick? They were at least there. It made sense at the time. But bringing them around like a mysterious guy, keeping them in like a Ziploc bag, there was no coming back from that. If I went down that destructive path, I'd probably be behind bars right now just from scaring the general populace. Like, what is this guy up to with this deck of cards? This is a maniac. Get him off the streets, this menace. But now let's talk about the things that the social savior Kaya wasn't able to prevent me from doing. One of the biggest ones that I can remember is I used to go to clubs because I obviously wasn't really getting invited to house parties. Because who's going to want to invite the guy who doesn't talk because he thinks it's cool not to? Like, I would blatantly just avoid answering questions in class. If I got called on, I'd just blow it off like, oh, yeah. I wouldn't even give like a yes or a no. I wouldn't be like no, I don't know the answer. I wouldn't even give the answer. I'd just be like, oh, yeah. Just like fucking mumble it out like I was fucking overdosing on Xanax. So obviously no one was going to come out of their way to invite me to a house party. No one got to know me my freshman year. So I'd go to clubs by myself. And one time, it was New Year's, and I had these light up New Year's glasses. And they were some pretty fucking cool glasses, not going to lie. And I was wearing them around my neck because they were so bright I couldn't really see. I was basically just flashbanging myself when I was wearing them normally with the lights going on and shit. So I had them around my neck. And this girl came up to me and started talking to me about them. And instead of like answering any of your questions, I was playing it the same way I did everything else. I just didn't say a word. She said something about my glasses, but she fucked up and called them a necklace. She said something like, I like your necklace. That's a cool necklace. They're glasses. How dare you fuck that up? But anyway, I just disregarded it and I stared at her blankly. Like a fucking robot whose programming just malfunctioned, or I just fell asleep standing up. But she kept trying to get me to talk to her, get me to open up. That goddamn hero, that trooper, she just kept really trying to pry me open, but it just wasn't happening. Getting me to talk and not be mysterious in my freshman year of college would be like trying to open up a dumpster and not have a wave of shit hit your nostrils. But she kept trying. She pulled out her shirt saying, do you like my shirt? And it said something like, short girls know how to have fun or something like that, or something to that extent. And I glanced at it and then I immediately went back to staring at her without commenting on the shirt or even saying a word. I didn't make a noise. I didn't even make like a caveman grunt, like a Tim Allen. I didn't do anything. I didn't make a single audible noise. So I was basically just a fucking statue there. She tried again. She said something else about my necklace, and this time it must have just struck a chord because I remember I pulled them off of my neck slowly and I put them on my eyes, and then I flicked them on the next setting, which was like this intense, glowing, like strobe light shit, like some blinding, banging strobe light shit. And then she walked away. I still didn't say anything because I just put them on my eyes and then turned that setting on and kept staring at her. So I don't blame her for walking away. And that was really when it hit me like, you know, maybe being the mysterious weirdo isn't going to pay off. But I still committed to it. I still kept going past that. That was New Year's, and we still had another 5 or so months of me being an odd, weird, anime-inspired, mysterious loser. There's really no other big events that really stick out to me. Just a bunch of small stuff that I kept doing throughout the entirety of my freshman year. Like if it was raining and everyone was like, oh fuck, it's raining and I forgot my umbrella, I'm just gonna wait it out. I'd walk right by them, just kind of like wiggle my way through them, and then I'd just walk out in the rain like I didn't give a shit, like I didn't even know it was raining. Like I'd pull out my phone, much to the detriment of my phone, just be like, oh, rain? Too mysterious to feel rain. I really don't know why I ever thought walking out in the rain looking like some kind of dumb asshole would be cool or mysterious, because it doesn't fit either category, but that was another thing I'd partake in almost every time it rained. The only other big event that I can really think of, one that I still think about and it keeps me up at night and really haunts my boners to this day, is when I took an art therapy course towards the second semester of my freshman year. I don't remember exactly what it was. It wasn't art therapy, but it was something similar. It was just an art class basically where you express yourself. And I thought it would be amazingly mysterious and really get girls' panties super fucking wet, just sodden panties being tossed at me. Is every assignment I tried to make it as dark and bland as possible.
So one of the assignments being, what do you think of your friends? You were supposed to do one about 12 friends. You make a drawing to represent each friend. And for mine, I did the same thing for all of them. It was a black box. I don't know why I don't know what at all was my thought process with that, but I just did 12 black boxes to represent all of my friends, and when I was supposed to present it, I gave them each a name, and I did name 12 friends. I'm kind of more acquaintances. I didn't really have any like super close friends or anything, but I did name 12 people that I knew and who also knew of my existence. And that just made me seem like I belonged in an insane asylum looking back on it. But at the time, I was like, oh, girls love the troubled artist, the mysterious troubled artist. This is beautiful. There's going to be tears in their eyes. I already know it. I'm going to get an A on this project. Spoiler alert, I didn't get an A because she thought I just blew it off and goofed on it. So I got a D because I at least turned something in. But even still, I drew 12 black boxes. That's some shit that you see in a horror movie. Like when the weird kid's scribbling shit on paper in a black crayon, and then you find out that the kid's actually a demon. That's that kind of shit that I presented to the class, and there's no doubt in my mind those students walked away deeply disturbed and afraid of me from that moment on. So, that's how I spent the entire first year of my college experience, emulating the anime mysterious guy. It wasn't until I moved out of my dorm and in with a new group of guys who put the kibosh on that shit and taught me how to be social, because they did not want to be living with some fucking weirdo that's trying to be an anime mysterious guy. So that's kind of that's how my first year of college went. The lesson to take away from this is don't emulate what you see on anime, because it's just not gonna fucking work unless you have some like superpowers that you might like, some really fucking cool superpowers. You might be able to get away with being weirdly mysterious, but I didn't. The only superpower I had was being below average male height. But if you have some cool superpowered shit, maybe you can emulate anime to some extent and still be cool, but I couldn't. But I wouldn't recommend it to most people, the non-superpowered people out there. To the people that aren't X-Men, don't try and be an anime mysterious guy. Don't be weird. That's it. See ya.
What's up, everybody? It's Critical. The footage you're seeing is from Boys of Valor. It's just them kicking back on a couch and talking. But like the back of the box says, it's animated fun with a message. And I'm delivering a message now. Another talk about my life, I guess. This will be probably the last time I talk about my life, at least within the next year or so, because I don't like to make a lot of videos talking about myself personally. But I thought this was necessary, so a month ago I made that video about how I've hit rock bottom and I'm at the lowest point in my life, but I'm trying to be optimistic because my girlfriend broke up with me and I just couldn't find a job, still can't find a job. But since then, her and I have been trying to work on things. Like she started talking to me again, and then we started to work on things and everything was really good. And she was talking about moving in and marriage and stuff, which was, it was really sweet, and it felt like things were back to the way they once were. But today I found out she's been fucking another guy while we've been trying to work things out to be together again. And it really, really hurts. But I guess the reason I'm making this video is, one, because talking about my problems makes me feel a little bit better about them. And two, I just kind of want to share with all of you what I want to accomplish in my life. A long time ago I made that video about how I have the naive goal of ending corruption, which everyone knows, including me, that probably will not happen. But I like to shoot for the stars, but that's not all I want to do. I want everyone to know my name. I want my name to be remembered. I want to be remembered. I want to be remembered as someone who made a positive impact on the entire world, and I want everyone on the planet to know who I am. I don't care if they know me by Critical or by my real name, Charlie. It doesn't matter to me. I just really want to be a part of something big that helps the world, that fixes it, to just make it better. And I really, really want that. And saying these things about myself is super uncomfortable. Like, this isn't something I tell anyone, really. So maybe it's because I'm drunk, but I just really kind of want to open up right now about like kind of who I am as a person. I have these huge goals that just seem impossible to be met, but with all the support all of you give me and all the emails you send me, it just means so much, and it really makes me feel like I can actually do the things that I want to do with my life. And that just means the world to me. So thank you all so much. And now, the other couple things I wanted to talk about in this video is how I live my life. Because, I'm talking a lot about myself right now. I might as well just say things I've never said before, So I live my life in a way where I want every single day to be memorable. I want to, like in 5 years, I want to look back and be like, oh yeah, I remember exactly what I did on September 20th at 5:06 a.m. I probably wouldn't get the time, but I want to be able to be like, oh yeah, I remember September 20th of 2015. Like, I just want every day to be memorable. And that's what I shoot for. Obviously, I don't always succeed at remembering every day. Like shit, I don't remember what I did yesterday, for instance, or at least not entirely. But that's what I want. And another thing that I do for my life is I never, go through a day without trying something new, I guess, or trying to improve something, like juggling. Bitch, give me some fucking balls and I will juggle the shit out of them, even though I'm pretty bad at it. But I still practice. And dancing, I dance like a fucking madman, even though I'm not that great at it. But I will do that SpongeBob footwork shit. I can't exactly do any body waves, at least not very convincingly, because my elbows fucking flail around like a scarecrow. Thus meaning they're very stiff. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm not very good at that move, that maneuver, that witchcraft, that voodoo. But, I still try and learn it, because I want to be able to do a lot of cool things, go out to a club. Everyone just form a circle around me. I'm doing head spins. I'm going in. Oh shit. Yeah. Just going, being able to do a lot of things. I know this video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to wrap it up, but I want anyone watching that might be at a low point, feel beaten down and defeated, like things aren't going to get any better for them. I want you to know that I'm right there with you at that low point. But believe me, things really will get better. As hard as it is, even for me right now, you gotta stay positive and just hope for the best and surround yourself with people who care and just do new things, meet new people, and things really will get better. And sometimes even the worst situations can lead to something extremely positive that you might not have achieved if you hadn't gone through that pain. So at least that's how I think. So I just kind of wanted to open up a little bit. I mean, I've been doing YouTube for 7 years now, and nobody knows shit about me. I mean, fuck, I just dropped my first name, which is something I never thought I would do, but that's all I'll do. I'll never do face cams. No fucking face cams. And no last name either. But yeah, that's it. See ya.